into life. Think you got a shot, don't stop, just fire away. It's alright, breathe into life. And if you're feeling good vibes, find your best self and ride the wave. It's alright, breathe into life. Think you got a shot, don't stop, just fire away. It's alright, breathe into life. And if you're feeling good vibes, find your best self and ride the wave. It's alright, breathe into life. Time after time I question myself. This is not what it seems. Day after day I try to believe. Seems like I'm living a dream. Sometimes it makes me wonder, is there a door that's open? Take a chance and see, can you believe? It's time to live and see the light. Take the time to fight and do what's right. Gotta take it on one step at a time. I'm gonna open my eyes to a brand new day, 'cause I'm here to stay. Temptation, it lies beside me. Today's a give and take. Thoughts tend to spin, make me so crazy. Why did I do this again? Sometimes it makes me wonder, is there a door still open? I can't wait any longer. Do you believe? It's time to live and see the light. Take the time to fight and do what's right. Gotta take it on one step at a time. I'm gonna open my eyes to a brand new day, 'cause I'm here to stay. I'm here to stay. Oh.
6 days on from our 6 of the best, and today it is all about making it a very good Friday indeed. We begin our Easter weekend with a trip southwest to take on Bristol Rovers, and if the boys can produce a performance anything like last weekend's, then we could end the day in the top 10. Rovers have enjoyed a comfortable first season back in League One, having won promotion last summer. They've lost their last 2 matches, and incredibly, that last game came 20 days ago. Jerry Barton will no doubt have them fired up for today, but hopefully that potential drop-off in match sharpness can work in our favour. We are live streaming today's game in the UK, Ireland and worldwide, and remember that you can now use the Charlton app to cast or mirror today's game onto your smart TV. We've got lots to get through ahead of kickoff at the Memorial Stadium, so here is a taster of what is to come. As always, we're here from manager Dean Holden, who spoke to Terry Smith shortly after arriving in the West Country earlier this afternoon, and we were honoured to be joined by lifelong supporter Frank Forbes and his family on Saturday. Frank is sadly terminally ill, so we will see how we managed to surprise him. And we're here from the man who has been dubbed Tyrell Carlos on social media this week, defender Tyrell Thomas, who has impressed in his opportunities at left back in recent weeks, spoke to Charlton TV yesterday. So as always, there is lots to come on Charlton TV. And there is a certain glow in the studio today, a rejuvenated duo back from their holidays, Brownie, Curbs. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hey, have you been away? Yeah, I've been away.
You've had a good grooming experience on your holiday, Brownie.
Well, good or just grooming. I think take the good out of it. Yeah, no, I had my ears waxed and my nose waxed and stuff. Yeah, honestly, because I went in for one of those cutthroat things, and Mrs. Brown, she was taping it, and the guy was looking over to her going, hairy ears, and she was going, wax them. He was just plugging my ears up with wax, ripping it off. It was horrible.
Waxing his ears and waxing his nose.
Honestly, the nose one. I said to my missus, how that heck, I don't know where it goes. It's not that long.
Let's talk football.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll try and bring that footage to you, but maybe we won't as well. But it's great to have you back here in the studio. And I want to say quickly, we have been informed about a couple of coaches who were making their way to the game today, unfortunately being stuck in traffic. And I am aware that the club has sent those supporters a code so that you can at least watch the game with us this afternoon. I'm so sorry that you've had to encounter those problems. The road's on a bank holiday anyway, so thank you for joining us. We really appreciate having you here. Brownie, you weren't here for the 6-goal thriller, but I'm sure you heard all about it.
Yeah, I got a few texts and tweets saying, you know, stay away. I've missed 2 games this year, and we've scored 11, conceded 1, 6 points. Yeah, frightening. But
we should have him outside, really, shouldn't we?
I think Scotty was texting you when he has the goals.
Yeah. And I was sitting there, and I was in the shower at one point. I thought, I sent a tweet out myself saying, 10 goals. Went in the shower, come back, it was 11, and it's like, look, the best thing is it's pleasing for us as a football club. You know, it's a fantastic result. The Plymouth one, same. And so when people say stay away, if that's what it takes to win a league, I'll happily stay away.
Actually, the game just ticked every box.
Yeah.
What needed to be ticked, you know, Macaulay Bond getting a goal, you know, Fraser scoring a top class goal, and Miles coming, you know, the way he's been playing and winning at home, which is what we've needed to do. So I just hope that we get a result today, and on Monday, a few more turn up and start getting behind the players.
Well, Brownie, Curbs mentions the fact about getting a result today. Dean made the point as well that 6-0 is fantastic, it's brilliant, but look at our position in the league. We need to build upon it, and we have been a little bit inconsistent in doing that this season, so really important to try and match an excellent 3 points with a good result on the road, where our form has been so fine in recent weeks and months.
Yeah, I think you know you can do what we always say, half glass full, half glass empty. It's up to you. But we are 1 loss in 7. You know, we've got a good return at the moment. 1-3, drawn 3 and lost 1. You know, the important thing is we're not conceding a lot of goals, which has been my bugbear. We've been too easy to score against, and we've stopped that for the time being. But I totally agree. You know, if you want the season to end strongly, you've got to back up that 6-0 with another win today, which I think we can do. I think it's all in our favour. They've not got a very good home record. I'm not sure 3 weeks without a game does you any favours. I wouldn't have liked that.
From a manager's point of view, 20 days without a game. I think one of them was due to internationals being involved, and then obviously with Bolton being in the Papa John's finals. So that's something again that we can perhaps use to our advantage.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, what do you do as a manager? You give the players a couple of days off, and then perhaps you train them a bit harder when they come back in. And you know, they used to be playing Saturday, perhaps on the Wednesday, Saturday. Yeah, so it does muck it up a bit, and it's difficult. And I think that they might suffer because of that. I just saw the thing that gets to me is that, you know, when we go to certain away grounds, I just saw that pitch, and it looked really good. You know, so that'll suit us. I'm not too sure about the stadium, but obviously, you know, when you look at some of these grounds in this league, like the smaller teams, you look at the pitch as well and think, can we play on that? And that looks lovely, that pitch.
Well, we use a key word, don't we, in this game, momentum. And we spoke about starting games on the front foot, and that is what worked so well last week, wasn't it? After a bit of an iffy patch, we got that early goal, 3-0 up at half-time, and it laid a foundation. So I'm sure the message from Dean will be take that, bottle that, and make sure that we capitalise on that match fitness that Bristol Rovers might be lacking.
I think that's a standard, though. It shouldn't just be because we did it against Shrewsbury. I think if you're in a team, every single game, you used to, your last words we went down was fast start. It was always to get on top of the opponent as quickly as you could. You couldn't always do it. You know, you couldn't always do it. But when a team starts better than you, it's then becomes be resilient. You know, and we've lacked that a little bit. You know, we've sat here at times during the course of the season saying, start was poor. You know, stop waiting to see what happens. Go make it happen. We've said that quite a few times this year, and Dean's slowly, I'm sure, getting his messages across how he wants the team to be, how he wants the team to start. You can't do it every time, but you can at least give yourself that chance, can't you?
What was really intriguing was the counter-attacking, because we've got some pace, especially up top, both wide men and Miles down the middle. And the Albion Morgan goal was a classic counter-attack, which, you know, sometimes the way football's being played now, possession football, you do get penned in a little bit, and you just wait for your chance to win the ball back, and then normally you win the ball back and keep it. But we've won the ball back and then went for it on the counter attack. We look really dangerous. So being away from home today, if that's the case, Bristol get on top of us a little bit. We've got the pace to counter attack.
Right, well, we have got so much to talk about ahead of kickoff. So let's hear from the manager himself, Dean Holden, who spoke to our very own Terry Smith earlier this afternoon.
Dean, we're here at the Memorial Stadium, and you've made one change to the starting 11 and one on the bench as well. Unfortunately, Sean Clare not making it this afternoon.
Yeah, he's suffering with that ankle injury that he picked up last week, so hopefully he'll be okay for the game on Monday, but today comes too soon for him, so Stephen Session comes in at right back, and Manny Egbo joins the bench. And
it's good to see Manny Egbo back on the bench. I bet he's raring to go and wanting to get full team. He's been knocking on your door trying to get in the starting 11.
Have you spoken to him? Yeah, he knocked on yesterday, funnily enough. A good chat with him yesterday. Yeah, he's keen to be involved. He's been a big part of what we've done behind the scenes. He wants to contribute now from on the pitch, and I'm sure he'll get some minutes as the season pans out. Yeah.
It's a lovely afternoon here in Bristol, and you'll be keen to keep that unbeaten run going and maybe another win on the road.
Yeah, that's the aim. I mean, the message to the players is much more of the same from last week. We want to start the game like we finished it last week. And having said that, no two games are ever the same, are they? And we know Bristol Rovers have not played for 3 weeks, so we have to make sure we earn the right today. We know it's going to be. They're going to want to make it a physical game. I think in recent weeks, certainly against Shrewsbury and Wickham in particular, we've stood up to that early in the game and shown that we can compete that side of the game. Obviously, with the ball at our feet, there's no questions about our quality at times. So it's going to be a difficult game for us, no doubt about that. But we want to start on the front foot. We want to take the game to them, and really, yeah, as I say, carry on from where we left off.
Yeah, I know it sounds fairly obvious, but is the start important in that respect? They haven't played for a couple of weeks. Their home form hasn't been great prior to that, so maybe get at them early on and rattle a few feathers.
Yeah, for sure. Big following behind us. It's going to be a full house, I think, today, so it's going to be a good atmosphere come kick-off. We've got to use that. We've got to use that energy. You're absolutely right. We need to start on the front foot. That's the message. Games don't always pan out like that, but we've got to make sure, the stoppages, the restarts, get the ball back into play quickly, and as you say, try and really get some energy right from that first minute.
Cheers, Dean. Good luck.
Great to hear from Dean there, echoing the sentiments in the studio about how important it is to start on the front foot. So let's take a look at that starting 11. Confirmation of the one change from the side who won 6-0 here at the Valley last week. We saw Sean Clare hobble off with an injury. He is unavailable today. So Sess into the team. Brownie, are you liking the look of that 11?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that, and this is nothing against Sean, two recognised Thomas is filling in at full-back, but I quite like the fact Session's come across the right-back. I think pace and power down that right-hand side. You've got Raksaki, we know, offers that 1v1 creativity going forward, but he can also tuck inside as well. And I think if you've got Session bursting up out on that outside as well, that's pace to burn, and on our right-hand side. But yeah, I just think... I think the confidence that this team should be going into this game with is probably the most confidence a Charlton side's had. We're on a pretty decent run. That's a wonderful result last week, a clean sheet to boot, and I bet they couldn't wait to get out there today, or they can't wait to get out there today. It doesn't matter what the setup is particularly, it doesn't matter what the formation is. When you're starting to get momentum and you're starting to win games like Curbs has just been speaking about, everything went right last week, everything was good. There's no excuse today to be on the back foot at all. You should be full of and brimming with confidence.
Curbs, fantastic to see Manny Egbo on the bench. He joined us in the Charlton TV studio a few months ago, didn't he? And we could sense his frustration, how it had been a bit of a stop-start to his career here at Charlton. And he is going to be relishing perhaps the opportunity to get some minutes today and show the manager what he's all about between now and the end of the season.
I think that Dean needs to see that as well. I thought he was excellent when he came into the team. He's been out a long while. It looks an innocuous injury when he first done it, but a bit like a lot of our injuries, it seems that they've dragged on. But it's good to see him back, and I'm sure Dean will try and give him a run out before the end of the season. But as I said earlier, there's pace in the wide positions, as Brownie just said. You've got the midfield three that have been quite dominant, and Hector's come in and done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I think that's. I don't know what the situation is with him in terms of contracts or whatever. I think he probably owes us one.
I think he wants to stay around London as well.
I think he probably owes us one because we've took him in. But I know it doesn't always work that way, but I'm sure they'll be thinking about.
Well, no, he's grown from strength to strength, and I think he's been a real key to the manner in which we haven't conceded so many goals. And I know we've been a bit disappointed with some of the cheapies that we've given away from set pieces, but the way he organises the back line has been exceptional.
I think he's a leader. Very good on the ball, but I think that, as I say, perhaps he might appreciate that we've took him in from nowhere.
Let's hope so.
And if there's other clubs sniffing around him, he stays with us.
Yeah, I go back to why it's so important to get the ownership sorted, because I think they're all waiting for it. The ones out of contract, the ones who are coming up, if there is a chance to move on, they might want to stay, but that needs to get sorted so that people can go, right, this is what's happening, bang, we want you here for the next 12, 24 months. The longer that goes on, the more they're searching around.
Well, we know the gaffer's been busy already, hasn't he, with one eye ahead to next season, but focusing on the league table next, and we'll go straight into the top half as that is where we find ourselves. We're still 12th, but importantly, we are now only 3 points behind Shrewsbury in 10th, and catching them has got to be the target for us. At the very top, Sheffield Wednesday stay at the summit despite dropping points again on Saturday. They drew at home to Lincoln, which means it is now 5 without a win for them. Plymouth Argyle only trail them on goal difference, and Ipswich Town in third are now only 2 points behind, and both clubs have a game in hand. Bolton Wanderers, Peterborough United and Derby County are all locked on 64 points, although Bolton in 5th have played one game less than the other two clubs. Bolton, of course, lifted the Papa John's trophy on Sunday in quite some style by thrashing Plymouth 4-0 at Wembley in what was the highest attended game in Europe last weekend. Portsmouth in 9th are now only 3 points off of the playoffs. Pompey have won 3 of their last 4 games in the league now. It's been quite a turnaround there. And chaps, we've touched on it already, but the league table is looking a lot more encouraging for us now, isn't it?
I'm looking at that, I'm looking at us obviously, but I'm looking at that top, and I can't believe Derby have fallen out of it, can you? And I mean, the size of,
I can't believe
the
we're in striking distance of 6th. Frightening. And then it just goes to show. I thought Sheffield Wednesday were cakewalking their way to promotion, and actually with the games now they can go 3rd. Now you wouldn't have said that 5 games ago. 5 without a win. Where's that come from?
Ipswich have had a run.
Yeah, and they bounced back unbelievably well. And it just goes to show you can make your assumptions at Christmas in February. It literally is about the last 6 weeks. Put yourself. It's like Tiger Woods. He says, Put me in position in the back 9 on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Same with the team. Put me in a position where I can get there with 5 games to go. And all these ones, all the way down to 9th now.
Yeah, well, there's
are back
3
in play.
points between 5th and 9th.
Yeah.
Curbs,
Yeah.
it's wide open, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, we was looking at it thinking perhaps Plymouth. I was thinking perhaps Plymouth might fall out of it. You know, looking at the size of the clubs, and you know, Premier League clubs all around it, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, it's just and big clubs. I think this league is the strongest I think I've ever seen it. Yeah. Division 1.
It is strong indeed, and there is a full programme in League One this afternoon as well, with 12 matches taking place up and down the country. The 2 teams that we're looking to catch, Exeter City and Shrewsbury, have tough-looking home fixtures against playoff-chasing Bolton Wanderers and Derby County, so hopefully the away sides can do us a favour there. Ipswich, who are the division's form team, welcome Wickham to Portman Road, and Burton Albion, who we host here on Monday, face Barnsley at the Pirelli Stadium. In terms of teams at the bottom, Cambridge, Forest Green Rovers, MK Dons, Oxford and Morecambe all have home games today. And Curbs, any fixtures standing out for you?
Well, I'm looking at Forest Green Rovers because, you know, change of manager, young up and, you know, want to be given a chance, Ferguson, first shot, and it ain't gone so well, is it? And, you know, can't win a game, and then they've got a massive game against Derby today. So that's the one for me.
And Brownie, the Easter weekend is such an important one, isn't it? Because you can pick up 6 points in the space of a few days, and it can almost be season defining. Yeah,
I think Christmas is similar, isn't it? You can give yourself a right good push at Christmas with games coming in close proximity, and it's the same over Easter. You know, we could look at the league table today, and we'll look at it Tuesday, and there'll be some movers without any shadow of a doubt. You know, if there's a couple of, like the Derby game, if they were to get turned over by Forest Green, I don't think they will, but they are out of form, right? If they were to get turned over, you'd be amazed how quickly Portsmouth jump above them, and I can't remember the team between them and Portsmouth, but you know, it changes so quickly when you have these 2 games in 3 or 4 days. But there's pressure now, like proper pressure.
And even the Papa John's Trophy final, you think Bolton winning in such style, will there be a hangover effect for both of those teams today for good and bad reasons as well? It's going to be a very exciting end to the season, that's for sure, and we'll be keeping an eye on it here in the Charlton TV studio. But for now, let's take a break on today to bring you some updates from across the football club. We will start with ticketing news as always, and fans are reminded that season tickets for the 2023-24 season are now on sale. They went on sale last Friday, and 24 hours later we go and beat Shrewsbury 6-0, which I think is quite some way to advertise them. Adult season tickets start from £285 each, which equates to less than £12.50 per match, and you can get yours online, in person, via the phone or by post now by heading to booking.cafc.co.uk. Season tickets for our popular Valley Express coach service are also available, and we'll have news on the women's team's season tickets and seasonal hospitality to come next week, so stay tuned for that. But before our full focus turns to next season, let's not forget that we have still got 3 home games to come this term. Burton Albion are at the Valley on Monday, and then Morecambe visit on April the 22nd, with our final home fixture, can't quite believe I'm saying it, being against Port Vale on Saturday, April the 29th. All 3 games are going to be kicking off at 3 p.m, and you can get your tickets for those matches by heading to booking.cafc.co.uk. A very young under-21 squad beat Wigan Athletic 4-2 at the Valley on Monday afternoon after initially falling behind. The Addicts, whose team was made up entirely of under-18s, levelled when striker Patrick Casey concluded a great team move. Before half-time, we took the lead through this strike from influential midfielder Ryan Hugh. And further goals after the break from under-16s forward Mika Mabek and Kai Enslin secured maximum points for Charlton. A big well done to the boys. 24 hours later, the under-21s were back in action at Welling United in the London Senior Cup. That game saw Todd Kane get some minutes under his belt for the first time since sustaining his hamstring injury in January, and he helped them to a penalty shootout victory at Parkview Road. They will now go on to face Barking in the quarter-finals. Fans are now able to vote for both their men's and women's team Players of the Year. You can do so by heading to cafc.co.uk, and you can also get your tickets for the club's annual end-of-season meal right now too. Tickets for the meal, which will take place on Sunday, April the 30th at the Valley, are priced at £45 each, and that price includes entry and the cost of your food as well. Meal tickets can be purchased from that website, booking.cafc.co.uk. We will be concluding our 30 years back at the Valley celebrations at the end of next month when we host a Legends game here at the Valley. A team of Charlton legends will be taking on a team of Portsmouth legends in what is sure to be a fantastic afternoon for all involved. The game will take place on Saturday, May the 20th, and will kick off at 1 p.m. Tickets are available in the West Lower Stand, and as always can be purchased from booking.cafc.co.uk. They are priced at £10 for adults and £8 for Valley Gold members, and 25% of the proceeds from the game will be donated to our amazing Charlton Athletic Community Trust. And I am delighted to announce that Miles Leaburn has won the club's March Player of the Month award. Miles played 5 times in March and scored in each of our final 3 games of the month against Morecambe, Cambridge United and Wycombe Wanderers. He of course started April in fine form as well by netting twice against Shrewsbury last weekend, and we will be seeing those goals shortly. Miles claimed 44% of supporters' votes, with defender Michael Hector finishing in second with 30% of the vote. A big well done to Miles, and hopefully he can continue that impressive form today. The club were saddened to learn of the news that lifelong Charlton Athletic supporter Frank Forbes had been diagnosed with a terminal illness. Last weekend, we invited Frank and his family to the Valley for a special afternoon to try and put a smile on his face during this difficult time. Let's have a look at how Frank's afternoon unfolded.
I have a lot of health problems, heart failure, kidney failure, COPD, lifetime Charlton supporter. Since I was 7 years old, I'm 82 now. And since I was 7 years old, I came down here.
So we've got Frank that's come into the box today. So he wanted to come to one of his last Charlton games, and I was reached out to by John Phillips from Sheila May, and you know they've obviously explained the situation. So yeah, we've arranged for him to come and watch his beloved Charlton today.
I think it means the world to him. I think another visit to his favourite club in the world, I think, and more so to be with his best friends and family, I think is key. And the icing on the cake has been meeting some of the legends from the past has really just made it even better than it could have ever been.
Scott Minto and Colin Powell, they both signed this for me. Signed it for me, look. Brilliant. Lovely to meet them. To actually meet them in person is wonderful. Really lovely.
It meant a lot to him. You could just see him, like, with everyone, with meeting Scott, Dean, everybody. He's just so humble, like, wow, I can't believe this. And it's, you know, it's giving him a day that he didn't expect, which just makes it all the more amazing.
Miles Leaburn.
Miles Leaburn, he's so
brilliant.
He's very good, yeah.
10 goals he
Takes it
scored.
all from he gets all his talent from his mum, you know, Miles.
Yeah, definitely. Every single bit.
I'm sure.
You've seen his old man score a few goals, Carl, over the years.
I bet.
You've seen him score a few goals, yeah?
Yeah.
So myself and my partner Maggie, we run the company called Sheila Mays. Sheila Mays primarily as a companionship stroke PA service, and we set up to really sort of combat loneliness. A lot of people suffered through COVID, couldn't get out and about. And also we found difficulty getting help for my mum. So our main aim was to sort of make a difference, and whereby bigger agencies can only sort of support to a certain level, we offer very much a bespoke service for our clients, where we try and make anything possible within reason. And whether that's reuniting people with their lost friends, family, just a day out to the coast, or just a trip around the garden centre, we try and make most things happen. Again, very varied. We help within the home and offer sort of respite care to families that are in need.
Frank's come by private ambulance provided by St John's Ambulance. We've got the club, all the staff that have helped, and Jack Jeffries have donated their box. So it's a whole big effort by everyone to ensure that Frank gets to enjoy his Charlton day.
Great to see Frank and his family with smiles on their faces during what just must be an incredibly difficult time. Curbs, you and Scott and Kevin went to pop in and see Frank, and he hadn't left home for 7 months. I mean, the whole experience here at the Valley, seeing that win must have just done him the world of good.
And funny enough, because we're locked in here a little bit, you know, when me and Scott went there, we could hear the atmosphere outside, and I've been quite critical about the atmosphere, but because they had their doors open, could actually hear it and it wasn't bad. So no, he was delighted. I don't think he expected 1 or 2 people to go in there, but I don't think he expected Dean to go in there. Oh, you know, he probably thought Dean had other things on his mind, but you know, he enjoyed it, and you could see his face there. It was fantastic. Yeah,
it's wonderful. Well, Frank, if you are watching with your lovely family, we all send you the very, very best, and here's hoping that the boys can pick up another outstanding win for you this afternoon. Right, moving on now. Tyrell Thomas has staked his claim in the team in the role of left-back. 3 appearances in that position, 3 Charlton wins. So Charlton TV caught up with Tyrell at the training ground yesterday.
Back in the side, back in a relatively new position for you, but it's coincided with some really great results. How are you feeling about everything at the moment?
I'm really enjoying it, really enjoying my football at the moment. Been working hard, obviously behind the scenes, and I obviously haven't been involved as much as I'd like to over the whole season, but still been coming in with the right attitude. I believe that I need to be thrown in or get a chance wherever possible, and seems to come the chance to come at left back, and I really enjoyed it.
The manager's actually said recently that you were close to leaving us on deadline day. That obviously didn't happen, and now you're not just still here, you're in the team and you're playing a really important part. I mean, what did you say to yourself on sort of in early February about, I am still here, now I need to force myself back in?
Listen, it was a thing where at the time it wasn't like I wanted to leave. It was just sometimes you got to look at the best option for your career playing. Obviously at the time I wasn't playing too much. I was out squads, so thinking about obviously my career and then putting myself in the best possible position, that was the best thing at the time. Like, I've always wanted to succeed here. Like when I signed here in the summer, and put the team as high up that table as possible and potentially get in the playoffs and get this club to the championship.
I suppose everything does happen for a reason, doesn't it? And now you are back in and you are playing at left back. I mean, a position, like you said, you haven't played too many times before. How much are you enjoying playing at left back?
No, I'm really enjoying it, really enjoying it. You can be a bit more expansive than centre back, but at the same time I'm more of a reserved full back. I'm not like a up and down or the whole 90. So it really helps with the balance of the team, I think.
You say you're reserved, although I do remember on Saturday there was a time in the first half where you knocked the ball past your full-back and sprinted past him. And since Saturday I've actually seen a couple of fans on social media have nicknamed you Tyrell Carlos. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it's great. It's nice to be compared to or looked at like in the same light as a footballing legend. I don't think I've got quite a left foot strike as he had, but yeah, I'll take it. I'll take that.
We have seen a couple of assists from you since you've come back into the side. One was a nice little flick, and Saturday, I'll describe how we described it to you. So Morgan intercepts, Thomas clears the ball up to Lisbie, and he does the rest, drilling into the bottom corner from 22 yards in front of the covered end. Did we do you a little bit of a disservice there?
Massive disservice. It wasn't a clearance. I've actually, when the ball's coming, I've seen that the Shrewsbury player's going to miss it, and I've looked up to see like where Miles is, and I've seen him running behind, and I've actually looked to play him in behind when he's got onto it, and he still had quite a bit to do. To be fair to him, like, it's a great finish. But yeah, I think there was a bit of an injustice there done with the description of the type of pass to Miles.
How enjoyable was Saturday as a whole for you to get the assist and also for it to come in such a big win?
Great. Like, those are games that you want to be involved in. Yeah, you can't really, nothing more else to say. I think you've asked a lot of questions to other people. The gaffer's probably said everything. Like, it's a fantastic game, but we just need to keep that momentum, which that gives us going into Friday. Obviously, different opposition, we're playing away, and obviously the fans will be there behind us. So putting another strong, energetic performance with lots of quality, and I believe we'll come away with the result that we want.
And Saturday, just lastly on Saturday, it came at the end of a busy couple of weeks for you, didn't it, with your international duty as well? I mean, you must be in a really positive place at the moment at club level and international level. Yeah. Obviously, we're putting in some good performances here at Charlton, and we've won a good few games over the last 4 or 5. So yeah, everything's positive really. And then international level, we're through to the Gold Cup qualifiers in June. So that's something for me to look forward to, and I believe that we can get to the Gold Cup finals, which will be massive for the country and football. And back to Charlton and on to Friday, comes at the start of a busy weekend, the Easter weekend, of game on Friday and then on Monday. How much are you looking forward to Friday's game, first of all, against Bristol Rovers, where you'll be backed by a sold-out away end? I'm really up for it. The boys the whole team's really up for it. Everyone's in good spirits. Like, the squad as a whole is really together, and we're ready to travel down there and put on a performance and give our everything, lots of tempo and energy and quality to help us win the game. And just lastly, so we had our Academy Day a couple of weeks ago, where I know you would have gone through this when you were younger, where you walk around the perimeter of the pitch. You're now in the position where you've gone from that, you're now out on the pitch. When you did rejoin, you said, all I've ever wanted to do is play for Charlton. You're now doing that. Now, what does that mean to you? Yeah, it's a bit of a mini dream that I had. Obviously, when you're younger, you're just looking. I came in here when I was 14. You're looking at the first team, and like, they're sort of idols. And obviously, being ball boy from when I was young, you wanna get on that pitch one day and play for Charlton. So for me, it's an achievement that I've made for myself from when I was younger, that I've always wanted to do. But in terms of the club moving forward, I've always said that I wanted to get a promotion with Charlton Athletics. So hopefully that's something we can do, I can tick off in the future.
Great to hear from Tyrell there. Curbs, I just wondered what you made of him in that position. As we heard there, it's not a role that he's ever played before, but he's familiarised himself with it really quickly.
There's some things, I think, that, perhaps 3 or 4 weeks ago we was talking about Dean blooding some youngsters, having a look at what he's got, and without actually emphasising on it, we've got enough youngsters in the squad, and he's one of them. But what I like about him, and I had it with Brownie and Mark Fish and Herman Ariadson, we could go to a 3 if we wanted to now, because we've got 3 centre-backs there, and we've got the wing-backs. We can play as a 4, and he's comfortable at left-back. So I like that versatility. And as I said, I was advocating give some youngsters some games to see what we've got, but they've all come in. Not all of them, but we've got 4 in there at the moment, I think, that that's enough. But he's one of them, and every game he plays now, I mean, obviously he wants to play centre-back, but every game he plays is a bonus.
Brownie, how helpful is it to have a full-back with his height who can help kind of tighten up things at the back.
Yeah, just written that down actually about, you know, in terms of when you're structuring a team for a weekend, you have to take into account you've got to have man markers from set pieces. And we said the other week when he wasn't playing, Sessegnon came in, and I said, oh, we could be struggling. It was Wickham, and they scored from a set piece, and we look vulnerable. So that does help. You know, if you look back to the days of Pratley, sitting central midfielder here, 6'3", marker, set pieces, it makes a big difference, because otherwise you have to lean on the Frasers of this world and the Clares, and they're not natural markers at set pieces. It leaves you a little bit vulnerable. So it's a massive bonus. Yeah, and it has to be taken into account, particularly the lower down you go as well. You know, set pieces are vital, and you've got to have, I think, at least 4 good man markers in your side.
Well, look, it is great to have so many of you with us today on Good Friday, and we know lots of you are joining us because you weren't able to get to the game. There was trouble on the roads with a number of the away coaches, so hopefully you're dialed in, you're able to join us in the studio and to perhaps put a smile on your face on a tough afternoon. Let's take a look back to a rather wonderful afternoon here at the Valley, a 6-0 win against Shrewsbury. Here are the highlights. That was a sensational goal. I keep watching them over and over, and my favourite keeps changing. But Curbs, the way that Jez was off balance for that goal, it was a special one, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, we said earlier that it ticked all the boxes, the performance and the result. I think Fraser's free kick, because he's been threatening to do that. Albie Morgan getting on the score sheet, that was a fantastic counter-attack. And Rasaki, it was clever, because he took it one way, and then he finished it very quickly, which done the keeper. But as we're saying, you know, everything went for us at the weekend, and a big confidence boost for 1 or 2 players.
Well, we see Miles score that screamer from distance. Brownie, what impressed me so much as well was the cool composure. I know he'd pretty much bagged the points at this stage, but the way that he converts this penalty as well, the goals that he's scoring.
I thought Albie Morgan had it.
He did, so I don't know if that was a ploy between the two of them, but makes it look so easy, doesn't he?
Yeah, to be fair, if there's ever a time you want to take a penalty, it's when you're comfortably winning the game, because you can be a little bit casual and you can relax, and there's not the stress and pressure that if you miss.
This is the one.
Yeah, I mean, even that's fallen. I mean, that's just pure luck. That's a strike that's gone straight to centre forward who's unmarked in the middle of the box. You know, you should.
But he needed that.
I'm so listen, I said last week, so pleased for the supporters that we've had that result, so pleased for the team, the staff, everything, because that can just kickstart a really strong end to a season, and it kind of would lead everybody to believe there's better coming next year. You know, the takeover happens, there's money to spend, and you finish strong. You know, the atmosphere changes, and then everybody's sort of thought processes change about success next year. So I think it's vital, and there's nothing better than winning games of football. Let's be honest. What we come here for.
Well, Brownie, it tees up nicely a question that we've had through WhatsApp, and please do get in touch with us this afternoon. We'd love to hear from you, and I'm always happy to pose questions to these guys, whether it's on your grooming regime or about the football.
I can help you out there.
On the football, let's stick with the football rather than the waxing on this occasion. And we've had a question come in from Tenerife. And it is from Max. Thank you very much, Max. Could we fight for playoffs next season with this current squad?
Oh, change the complexity of the question there, didn't you? Right at the end.
That's why they're the best.
I think that's going to be a struggle, if I'm brutally honest. You know, we can't just forget what's happened, you know, up to this point. We're having a good little run, great result last weekend, but we can't just forget there are frailties within this team. We have struggled. We concede too many goals. Yeah, I'd say that would be a struggle.
Curbs, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think if we're going to get anywhere near it, we need to be dominant here. You know, win a majority of the games here. I'm just looking at perhaps the spine of the side. As I said earlier, it's quite young. You know, keeper, centre, you know, all the way through. I'm just a little bit concerned. Brownie's talking about clean sheets, but you know, if Miles gets a knock, I'm not too sure. You know, we've got Chucks who's a lot unavailable. Corey Blackett. I mean, if them two are around, I think we've got enough going forward. But we can't rely on that. So I would imagine if there's a pot of money, and perhaps Miles don't want to hear this, but I would be going there, getting someone in who we think is going to get us 20, 25.
Might be who gives us the pot of money.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I just think if we lost him at the moment through injury or whatever, there's a big hole there because Macaulay Bond's been struggling. We can't rely on Chucks, which I hate to keep saying that, but you can't. So where are we going to get the goals from?
Down the other end of the pitch, we were talking about him a little bit earlier. Because the team's been scoring so many goals, he's perhaps gone a little bit under the radar. But Michael Hector coming in, building his match fitness in the last couple of games, that sharpness, I think we're seeing the quality player that he is. If we could secure his services, he's a leader to build on in that centre-back position, which is so important. It could be the heartbeat of a team, can't it?
Yeah, and I think if you go back to the first game or two he had, we were like, and it was obvious he hadn't played. Yeah. And we were all going, right, he's going to need a month. And unfortunately, we've had a lot of those players come in over the last 2 years where they're just not match fit. And you have to see them get fit in front of your eyes, which means they're going to make some mistakes. But now we're through that period, what you're seeing is a guy that is positionally very good. You know, he does play, or his brain certainly works at a higher level than League One. I'm not sure I don't think he's very vocal. I don't see a lot of...
He has quiet leadership though. If you watch him, the way that he kind of calms and controls the back four and...
But positionally, he doesn't get caught out too often, and he takes up decent positions. He's not afraid either to do the old John Smith's have it. You know, if he's not sure what his surrounds are, it goes 60 yards down the pitch or it goes into the stand. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. So, is it a coincidence we've only conceded 6 in the last 7? You know, and he's been playing regularly. You know, I think Lucas Ness was having a fantastic season, but I think Hector going in there, whether it's with Ness or with Innes, just gives us a little bit more quality, a little bit more understanding positionally, and we've certainly, you know, have stopped conceding as many goals.
Another player there's going to be a lot of talk about is Albie Morgan, who has perhaps had his most consistent run in the side, certainly under Dean Holden in recent weeks. Spoke to him after the victory last week, and he kind of oozes so much enthusiasm. He's a player that plays with his heart on his sleeve, to good and sometimes negative effect, because when a pass doesn't come off, you can see it in his body language. But when he is going, he's exceptional, and particularly technically. Well,
I think last week Dean sort of gave him a vote of confidence in terms of you're playing to the end of the season, show me what you've got. And he had a really good game last week, capped with a top goal. I think Albie needs to be defined a bit more, you know, because he goes into that midfield as a free, and sometimes he goes missing because he wants to have that freedom, and you can't. You know, if he's playing holding midfield with Dobson and Fraser's the man who's going to be our number 10, then he's got to be that holding midfield, but he tends to lose his discipline. I will just try and pin him down a little bit, and I think we've definitely got to keep him.
Well, as we can see the players making their way onto the field of play, and Joey Barton, whose side haven't played a game in 20 days, these are the 2 starting 11s. Gents, your final thoughts quickly before I hand over to the comms.
I'd be interested to see how they start, because 3 weeks is a long time out. Listen, they've got, I think they're the top scorers in the bottom half of the league, and there's a reason for that. Their front 3 score goals. You know, Coburn's got a few. Marquis isn't in today, but Coburn scored a few. You know, and obviously Collins he's not in. That's the first time we've seen their side. Collins isn't in either.
Right, so they got a few players.
So they've got 2 of their top scorers missing. So listen, it's a great opportunity for us off the back of a fantastic win last week, and they're not great at home, Charlotte. So I'm actually going to put my neck on the block and say away win.
Away win. Well, look, on that note, let's wrap things up right now here in the studio and hand you over to your afternoon's commentators, Terry Smith and Greg Stubley.
3, Lewis Holden. 6, and Captain.
Thank you, Charlotte. Brownie, thank you, Curbs, and yes, welcome to the Memorial Stadium here on Charlton TV as we bring you all the action live from Bristol alongside me, Greg Stubley. And before we get on to the football, Scotty Minto's got to get some serious tan to compete with the boys in the studio when he comes back, isn't he?
Oh, glorious. Absolutely glorious, that turn line from Brownie. We know he had a good time last week and he missed out on a good time for Charlton fans as well. It's a good weekend for all.
Pressure's on for Brownie. Got to get back at least 3 or 4 here just so he can hold his head up high. Now he's back. But, I mean, it's an interesting lineups here at Charlton. Obviously, Charlton's side almost picked itself. No Sean Clare, but Stephen Session's sort of slot